Hello, the internet. Matthew here at Mission Nutrition in Huntington. I'm speaking with one of the owners, Chris Giordano. Chris, thank you very much for agreeing to this interview today.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming down and giving us the time to share our story.
Oh, absolutely. And share your story is exactly what I'm going to do. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the store. This is a new mecca for me coming in here. Everything about Mission Nutrition feels very well thought out from the very beginning. As soon as you walk through the store, everything is open. It's easy to see. All the sections are properly displayed. The staff has always been top notch. I don't know anyone, including myself, who's ever had a bad experience with anybody who's here, whether it's yourself, the other owners and managers, or none of the other employees. Everybody's always been fantastic. Got great products. Prices are actually very, very reasonable. A lot of times people get scared off from health food stores and health food products because it's going to be so expensive.
Right.
And like I said, I was walking by your tea section, and I noticed the prices were pretty much the same, if not a little better than Stop and Shop, and some of the other. Little better than some of the other grocery stores. So that speaks volumes for what you guys do and the thought you put into it. So right here on Main Street in Huntington now, and you have a store in Hicksville as well?
We do, yes, right off 107, and it's kind of Bethpage border, but it's Hicksville.
All right, and that's your flagship store?
That's our flagship store, yes. This store we opened in September of this year. That store is going to go on its 3-year anniversary.
And when's that anniversary?
At the end of May.
At the end of May.
Yeah, right after Memorial Day weekend we opened up.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Yeah, so it's exciting for us.
All right, so let's backtrack a little bit. Let's talk about Mission Nutrition. What is the mission of Mission Nutrition?
Yeah, so it's a good question, and it's something that we take pride in. And I just want to first just to touch on what you were saying, how when you walked in for the first time, and that was one of our missions, was to have a place that is very welcoming and inviting, and not generally aggressive or overwhelming. We wanted a friendly shopping retail environment for anybody just looking to better their health. Women, men, teenagers, seniors, whoever it is. We just wanted to provide a very, very friendly atmosphere, and an atmosphere that make you feel comfortable. So it's very rewarding to hear that, because I know that we're doing the right thing, especially with the staff too as well.
Yeah.
We take pride in that.
Really solid hires throughout.
We set a high standard.
And that's very difficult.
Right.
I know a lot of other people who own stores, brick-and-mortar stores, restaurants, and hiring the right staff.
Right.
As Sir Richard Branson always says, don't take care of your customers, take care of your employees, and they'll take care of your customers.
Yes.
And obviously, you guys thought that through all the way.
We did think that through. Yes, absolutely. And our mission was to basically provide a unique experience to influence what people know, what people eat, and what people supplement to improve the communities we serve.
No eating
That's
supplement.
It. What you know, what you eat, and what you supplement. And we wanted to build a model based around that one word, and that one word being experience. When you typically hear of a nutrition store, not that it has a bad rap, but most people's first impression is a vitamin shop or a GNC, and we still get that. Right. And that's been one of the hurdles that we've had to overcome, because we're so different in what we do. And when you walk in the store and you engage like you did, you understand that it's not like that.
Yeah.
But trying to get that message out when you're on social media or online, it's a different challenge. And that's something that we worked on. And what's important for us is to capture that consumer experience and bring it. So when everybody walks through that door, what you experience is what everybody should experience. And that's what we really want. We want them to be educated. We want them to discover. We want them to learn. And even though we're a supplement store and we carry a range of different vitamins and supplements, you see we do foods, we do snacks. We are truly, truly, truly firm believers that food is medicine. Food is number one. I mean, we'll talk to you about your diet. We'll talk to you about what's going on. What are you eating? Before we're even trying to pick up a bottle and sell you a supplement or a pill or anything like that.
And you have qualified nutritionists and counselors here?
Yes. So, I mean, we are, personally, I am a certified ketogenic health coach.
That's fantastic.
Mike is a certified sports nutritionist. Anthony's a health coach as well. So even though we're not nutritionists, we are experienced and certified to be able to coach people through whether it's fitness or health goals.
Yeah, so you're not flying by the seat of your pants and reading things off a box. It's you have the experience, you have the training.
Correct.
And that you know is so different, and it's so, and exactly what you said, that you want things to be so unique that it's difficult to necessarily quantify in like a certain phrase.
Right.
And I found I've already been up against that wall when I tell people about this place, and they say, well, what is it? I'm like, it's a vitamin, it's a health.
Right.
Why don't you come on down to Huntington? What are you going to be in the area?
Check it out.
Just like check it out.
Right. That's what most people will say. My friend just kept telling me, come check the place out. Come check the place out. So I'm here. What is it all about?
Yeah.
And it's pretty unique in that aspect, but it's kind of one of those things that you really got to come in and experience it. We're trying to do our job in online, whether it's video content, showing what we do, getting that message out there that, hey, we're not pills and powders. And that's the message we want to send to people. We host tons of workshops, seminars. Some you've attended, right?
Yes, very good.
Education is the cornerstone of Mission Nutrition. Education.
A store that strives to educate their consumer?
Correct.
It's almost heresy.
And a big part of that was, one, that's our passion. That's what we believe. But two, today, a lot of these products on these shelves not only are sold in Stop and Shops, like you mentioned, at competitive price or food, drug, mass, they're sold online.
Yeah.
And we wanted to create a place where you can come and learn and buy competitively and not feel like you've been cheated when you leave, in terms of your price.
Yeah.
And you could go online, you can go on Amazon, you can go on eBay, you can go on websites, you can read reviews, but you can't have conversation.
Bingo.
You can't ask questions.
Yeah.
You can't ask questions pertaining to you.
Right.
You can see somebody else's maybe question and
go through the Q&A, the forum.
Maybe you could relate to some things, but I'm sure 9 times out of 10 you have your own question.
Oh, absolutely.
Or you want to know something specific, and that's why we just truly believe there was a place for retail, even in an environment where Vitamin Shops and Vitamin Worlds and a lot of these places are closing, or GNCs. A lot of them are closing stores. Even in a world of that, we still feel the necessity and the importance of education.
Well, it's more than that. It's a step beyond. It's because it's the genuine human interaction.
Yes.
And that's something I said a while ago. When I started my business, I realized I needed a printer. Something simple, like I needed an in-home, scanner printer.
Right.
And I started going online, I started scrolling, reading reviews. I'm like, I can't do this. And I drove to Best Buy. And I bought the one that was in the store that the guy recommended. I asked him 65 questions. I got exactly the thing I wanted. I was in and out in 25 minutes. And I think that's maybe my personal theory is I think that's where retail's going to end up, is it's going to be that place where you can actually interact, and you're already ahead of that curve when it comes to health and nutrition. And that's something all the great business minds have talked about. Gary Vaynerchuck, Ty Lopez,
Correct.
Peter Sage, Richard Branson. They've all talked about exactly what you're doing. Now let me ask you, did you take their advice, or did you follow your passion and end up modeling it after their advice?
Good question. So a part of that initially was passion. Coming to this business, I didn't have much education maybe on the foundation of entrepreneurship in that sense. I did have my own business when I was at a younger age, around 24, 25. I had a FedEx route. So I learned things about bookkeeping and management and things like that, but never in a way of digital or self-influence or things like that. But the passion is what got us to start this business. And then slowly but surely, I started making a commitment to making, all me and my brothers, my partners, we started making a commitment to how we can be more self-influenced, how we can be the face, how we can give influence to the business, to the consumers.
You're not just a corporate logo, you are human beings at a place interacting with your customers.
Correct. And I'm a huge fan of Gary V. I mean, his latest book just inspired me to even have more personal self-influence. I went and got my ketogenic coaching so I can be a part and interact with consumers on a one-on-one basis.
From an authoritative stance.
Correct. And hold accountability with people, coach them through things. And I love it. It's a passion of mine. But
you can see it.
So yeah.
It comes out of your pores, man.
Yes. So, but you know, I did learn so much from figures like that in terms of self-influence, awareness, digitally, visually, you know, and that's what's really helped the business expand and grow at a rapid pace.
And I know it has expanded and grown at a rapid 3 years, 2 stores,
Yes.
and really every time I come in here, there's always a steady stream of customers. You know, everything goes in waves. I've come in here on weekdays, weekends. It's pretty much always the same thing. I know you and I have talked. Everything is just looking, you know. I mean, it can't always be this good. It can't always be this easy. What?
No.
Let's rewind.
Yes.
Where did we start?
So we actually started 4 years ago.
Okay.
Mom and Dad's house in Bethpage. You know, we grew up there. We had that house for 30 years.
Right.
Me and my brothers just
good old American suburban family.
Just, you know, middle class family. My father was a principal. My mother was a hairdresser. We weren't, you know, we didn't have anything above and beyond. Just it was just, you know, we worked for what we had.
Right.
And I had at the time I was working when I was younger. I worked for Vitamin Shop, which is where I gained a lot of this knowledge and
that was your foundation
and passion for nutrition. So that kind of like was the foundation, like you said. And then at the time I was working for a distributor, and the distributor would distribute a lot of these products. And I saw a lot of companies doing a lot of business online. My brother worked for a pharmaceutical company, and he would run their Amazon platform. So we sat down one day.
What year? 4 years ago?
This was 4 years ago.
Okay.
So we sat down one day, and I was like, you know, a lot of people sell Amazon, my products that I distribute on Amazon. And he looked into it, and he goes, yeah, you know, from what I can see, they sell. I said, he's like, why don't we try something? All right, what do you want to try? Let's open up a company. Let's start an Amazon business, and let's see what we can sell out of the house, Amazon and eBay.
Right.
I kid you not. So that was the start of this company, Whole Living LLC. That's what we called it.
All right. Yeah.
We opened up an LLC and literally went on Amazon. We bought things from his side of the business that he knew how to get, my things from my side of the business that I knew how to get. 3 months later, we need a warehouse.
It was doing that well.
It was doing that well in a few months. It wasn't even a matter of a warehouse. It was just we didn't want to bother with having to go keep packing boxes every day and go to the post office or UPS store.
Right.
We needed a business where we can get UPS to come and pick up.
Right.
So we got a little commercial space in a law firm's office where they leased it out to us. It was literally like a basement of a law firm in it, but a UPS truck came every day.
Right.
Went well. We were able to do more because obviously we're getting more orders out. Business was picking up, and in I want to say in 6 months, we need real warehouse space. So then we went and we looked. We secured our first warehouse, real warehouse. It was in Plainview, 1,500 square feet. Signed a lease, said let's go for it, and we did it. So once it got to that. Once it got to that point, I think we knew we were on to something. And then once it got to that, it was just like, okay, is this something tangible? Is this something serious?
This is more than just
this
that
is
online
more than
thing.
just an online thing.
Yeah.
You know, we sat down and we said, where do we see this? Where do we see we can take this?
Right.
And where do we see our passion? And can we align these things?
All those.
And
So
make
you
something great.
You took something personal and put it into the professional.
Yes.
Which is something a lot of people have been divorcing.
Right.
And now, as we've talked about before, that digital age has kind of been seaming everything together.
Right.
And the other thing you said, speaking of that, is that it was what your brother knew and what you knew.
Yes.
And it's what Napoleon Hill calls 2 + 2 = 5.
Yes.
Or 1 + 1 = 3. That's what he said.
Yes.
1 + 1 = 3. And it's just this added element that comes out of a partnership, a collaboration,
Right.
something that becomes more than either one of you could have figured out by yourselves.
Right. And that's where my third brother came in. And at that time we said...
Oh, literally 3.
Literally 3. And he was working with loss prevention with ShopRite. He also had retail experience and things like that. And we just came up with this idea. We're like, listen, we're doing it online. We could have probably just took it online and went further.
Right.
But I just remember working in vitamin shops. I remember how it was then, and I've seen it evolve to what it is today. And I said, nobody's really doing what I think could be done at a retail level, in terms of the education, in terms of the product innovation, in terms of the lifestyles that people are into,
the
paleo,
engagement.
ketogenic, vegan, all these things. There's no place you can go to learn about these things. So we all sat down and we were like, what if we opened a store?
That must have been one crazy conversation.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yes.
Because
that's the word I was really
scary
going
part
for.
is this. Matthew, my youngest brother, he was the one that our ideas aligned with the Amazon.
Right.
He left his job to run that online business. Me and Anthony, who was my middle brother, we were both still working.
Right.
So the scary thing now is if we want to open a retail store, and we were fortunate that we made money to be able to do this,
You had to jump.
we have to jump ship.
Yeah.
And it's not like we were making amazing money,
No.
but we were living, and we were affording to live on our own. At that time, we were not living in our parents' house anymore. But, it was a scary thought, because it was like, all right, if we're going to jump ship, we're really going to need to figure this out, see where we're going, and depend on each other to make this a success.
Yeah.
And, what are we, 3 years later?
It works.
3 years later, we opened that store 3 years ago. Probably a week or two or after Memorial Day weekend.
We're almost there.
We found a location in Hicksville, and I say it's more Bethpage because literally the block over is Bethpage.
Yeah.
That's the town we grew up in.
Yeah.
I could walk to the house that we were selling Amazon products out of from that first store.
That's awesome.
So it's remarkable.
Yeah.
We signed that lease, we put the store up, and it's been amazing ever since. And it's been such a story that we've grown, and we were so successful for those 3 years. Putting this store up in September, and I didn't even let you know this yet. Our warehouse we had to take out a second space in that time because the online business was still going.
Really?
So we took a warehouse across the street for another 1,500 square feet, got rid of those, and now we have a 6,000 square foot warehouse in Bayshore. We're still doing online. We've just launched missionnutrition.com. We plan to make that nationwide soon, and we hope that we still open more stores. But
dude, that just listening to that, it was just like this, I don't know, just this wagon train.
Yes.
This wagon train across this space of time. It just kept going and going and going.
Right.
And now I'm sure it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows.
And I was just going to tell you that, Matt. I was just going to say,
it can't
when
be.
we first,
This is what people need to understand.
Imagine the amount of stress when you leave your job. You're losing insurance. You're losing benefits.
Yeah.
You're losing your wages,
IRA.
right?
Yeah.
You open up a store.
Yeah.
We had a great opening weekend because we promoted it, and everybody we knew and their moms came out.
Right.
But then that Monday after we opened was a slow day, and you bet that week was a slow week, and then you bet those next few months were slow months.
Yeah.
And it got scary.
Yeah.
And it got lonely.
Because you got to do this. You just got to.
And it got stressful. There were
Yeah.
times where, a lot of people ask me, how do you work with your brothers? How do you work with family? I wouldn't be able to do it. That's the toughest thing. And statistically, it doesn't work out.
Right.
And there were times where, when it's getting tight and it's getting nervous, and you can butt heads, you can argue and things like that. But we overcame that. We knew that we had a goal and we had a mission, and we didn't stop doing what we believed. And the key was grassroots. We went out there and we demoed. We went out there, we did health seminars, workshops. We got in gyms. We went to every CrossFit event. We were talking to people in senior citizen communities. Anywhere we could be. We did street fairs. We set up tents and booths everywhere. Anything we can do organically to get in front of people and educate them and engage with them, we did. And then all of a sudden, it just started. More and more and more and more, right? And then 6, 8 months, a year later is when that store really started to pop. Yeah. It took a good year, but it was a hard year. Yeah, well, it was years where I was working 7 days a week. I mean, I still work.
Right, I was going to say, what changed?
7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and imagine no money, not being able to pay yourself like that. And it's tough. It's tough, but I encourage anyone out there that's starting a business to understand that, entrepreneurship, it's like this.
Yeah.
you feel like God one day, and tomorrow you can feel like this. But at the end of the day, you overcome those things. That's what makes you what you are and who you are. It defines you as a person in your greatest moments and at your worst moments. And if you can get through all that, you can get through the loneliness, you can get through the struggle, and you can just stay the course, like Gary Vee always says, trust the process, you'll get there.
All right, I hope everybody was taking notes on all of that, because there's so many things woven in, and something I talk about a lot on my channel is the fact that we're all living this great story. You know, and each person has their own script that they write.
Right.
You know, and Joseph Campbell, he's an anthropologist who's ended up becoming a philosopher by accident, I guess you would say. He discovered that we all the myths, all the great myths throughout history, the creation stories from tribes in the Pacific to the Greek stories to Star Wars and the Matrix, they all follow the same format because it's all the journey of the self through this life. And everything that, you leave the world you know. Right. Model this after your own story. You left the world you knew. You traveled from that world. You crossed the threshold. You dealt with the threshold guardians, maybe the people at the bank, whomever. You just keep thinking this story. And you follow this track around. You go through, you end up in the belly of the whale after first conflict. You had that 9 months. And you gradually move yourself around to this great crescendo, this return with elixir, this great boon in life itself. And then you start it over again. And you keep running that cycle.
Yes.
Does that translate?
That translates. That relates.
And that's what I really want to get through to everybody here, listening to Chris's story and understanding everything, yes, as he says, this up and down,
and
this
it's
oscillation.
a constant cycle. I mean,
right.
3 years later, we open this store. Yes, there's a little bit more
comfort,
a little more breathing room, right?
There's
a little bit more breathing room, but still, this was an investment. This was still another risk we had to take.
Yeah.
And this store is open 6 or 7 months. It's more promising than when we opened that first store 6 or 7 months in, because you have a brand, you have a following, you have a service already, you have reputation already. So it's a little bit more at ease, but it's still stressful. And it's like, you're coming back around that circle again, right? Yeah. But that's the key thing, is you constantly want to put yourself in positions where, you're taking more risks and you're not getting comfortable and you're doing more. We put everything we have back into this. Mm-hmm. We're not taking money. Right. We put it right back in.
Right.
And the second this gets that way, we'll put it back in and we'll try to go for another one. So I don't ever see this circle or the risk or the stress stopping, because we just want to keep going and going and going.
And it feeds you.
And
it feeds you personally.
I love the
Well.
challenge. I love it.
And there are so many people, and Gary Vee talks about this all the time. All the people who want to see, they want the nice big watches and the Lamborghini. He says people don't understand. They go on Instagram, they rent a Lamborghini for a day. They take money out that might be somebody else's. They rent these watches. They take a whole bunch of pictures. They put it up on Instagram. Yeah, I'm living this big life. To me, I don't follow. If your I'll tell you, if your Instagram page is mostly like that, I'm not going to follow you back. No. So don't even try following me right now.
Mine's all about food.
Right, exactly.
Buttered coffees and
right, and that's the thing. And Gary, I mean, again, praising Gary to the hilt here, but I'm sorry, he's left both good and bad examples.
Yeah.
And you see me every weekend. I'm in here with my daughter because she is my connection to the entire planet. I tell her all the time. I'm like, thanks. I tell her all the time. I'm like, you better take care of your dad, because if you're not in my life, Daddy's going to become a supervillain. No pressure on the kid. But it's because, he talks about that work-life balance all the time, that a lot of people, don't maintain that. He doesn't maintain that, and he admits it. And I try to build that into my brand is my life, mental health and personal development. Right. My daughter is part of that.
Right.
I see exuding this passion, this life, this vitality. And as you said, the cycle for you is never going to stop, because you have no intention of sitting on you don't seem to me like you have any intention of sitting on a beach with a big fat watch and somewhere and letting everybody else do everything for you.
No.
That's obvious, right?
You know, I want to be involved. I want to be, you know, it's just for me, that's my passion. That's what I want to do. I want to be involved at every level. You know, you said something before, and I'm just trying to re-talk on it. Something with Gary V, you know, with the watches and the Lamborghinis. And he'll tell you, you know, entrepreneurship is not about popping champagne bottles and taking private jets. And, you know, I measure wealth and success, you know, just based on being how great you are doing what you do. And I respect that about entrepreneurs. And I don't think it has to be in the form of money or car, or you know, you could just be the best at what you do. And I respect that, or at least have a passion for doing it. Yeah. I think that's what's important. And I think everybody needs to know that's not, you know, it's not always about the fancy things in life, you know? Listen, people want nice things, and some people may want to.
No reason you can't have it.
Yeah, I want to retire one day, you know. But it's not like I want to build this ship where, you know, I can access it from anywhere in the world and be on my yacht or something like that. No, you know, I want to be involved
in the trenches with everybody else.
I want to go up and down. I want to, you know. That's what I do.
And that's the mindset that leads to the biggest success. You know, they look back on Alexander the Great, you know, who conquered the known world more so than any monarch in history, even more than, you know, Caesar and any of the Romans. He conquered the most landmass of any single ruler, and he did it with very few men by ancient standards. And he ate with his men. He slept in the same conditions as them. He fought with them side by side, sometimes at the front. The king of the entire empire at the front, standing there with the guys with the spears and the slings and arrows. And
it's the way it has to be.
And that, I think, is something a lot of entrepreneurs, as Gary Vee says, he wishes entrepreneurship wasn't so sexy right now.
I know, and one thing that me and my brothers will always say to any employee that works with us, we will never ask you to do anything that we wouldn't do ourselves. And that, even if it's picking up a broom or a mop.
Right. Oh, I see you do that all the time.
You know, it's just, we'll never think that we're above anything. You know, everything plays an important, crucial role in this business.
And it's integral to the process. I love that. All right,
you know,
so
if you're going to mop the floor, I'm going to mop it the best. You know, that's how I am.
That's
I'm
the great attitude.
I'm going to be the best damn mopper that there is. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the attitude you have to take.
Yeah, do everything 100% or
Correct,
not at all.
100%.
Yeah. All right, so we've discussed the past, where you've come from, how things are running. We got into the present.
Right.
What's next?
The future.
Yes.
And that's going back to the cycle. And you constantly have to keep, especially in this day, evolving and changing. And in this industry, innovation is huge. Couple things that we do. One is our biggest thing is how do we enhance that customer experience? Yeah. You know, you have a great store, they come in, they're getting educated, but Chris, how do you take that a step further? What do you see the future? Yeah. And I think that goes back to what we were discussing in terms of the personal aspect and the coaching aspect. So now we're going to get more involved now, where we're going to be doing not only workshops, which we are doing in the present, but the future is going to hold one-on-one counseling. So it's going to be a place where you can come in, have your designated time, and actually get coached on a lifestyle, whether it's ketogenic, whether it's, you know, low carb or paleo. You know, how much do I have to eat? When do I eat? What do I eat? What do my macros look like? Right. You know, can you help me out with a nutritionist?
So you're building their whole plan.
We want to build a community too. You know, we want to build a community.
I can relate.
You know, like, it's not just about one in, one out.
Yeah.
We want to build a community that's truly genuine when I say that.
And integrated.
Yes.
So each again, going back to that idea that each person brings something, and then that creates something even bigger than any one person could have ever brought.
Correct.
And Correct. so that's where you're heading to next. And now you said you're a certified, registered.
Yes, certified
yes. Ketogenic coach.
Certified ketogenic coach. Yes.
All right.
And it's accredited.
It's accredited. Okay, good. So when are you going to start taking clients?
I actually have 3 lined up that are going to start probably in a week.
All right.
Yeah. So
sounds good.
It's going to be exciting for us. It's going to be exciting for Anthony and Mike to start doing that as well. Mike kind of did that prior.
Oh, you mean Keto Mike?
Yeah, Keto Mike, my keto guy. He's our right-hand man. He's basically the manager of both our stores.
Okay.
But Mike is a sports nutritionist and a health coach as well.
Okay.
He's in the past done consultations with customers on his own, but now that we have him here, he's a great asset to us. So he's going to start helping us out too as well.
Yeah, and shout out to Mike and Marty, their podcast, Mondays with Mike and Marty.
Yes.
That's right. I'm going to drop all
Good
the
dudes,
links.
man. Smart dudes.
Yes, very
really
much
good.
so. Dropping all their links down below. Of course, I'm going to drop all the links for Mission Nutrition in the description, the website,
Yes.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
And that's the other thing
everything
that's
you've
in the
got.
future for us is our website was currently always just something that was informative, showed videos, showed events, showed what was going on.
Order products.
But now it's going to be a place where you can actually shop lifestyle shopping.
Okay.
So if you're vegan and you want to go click vegan, you'll
Right.
see everything vegan. If you're paleo, click paleo, you'll shop paleo.
And
So
more
almost
crossing
right,
products
almost
and
like
scrolling
looking through
things.
like, hey, I know these are from my lifestyle.
Right.
And I don't think anybody's really done that yet online.
No, I could say as a vegan, I could go into almost any store, except for this one, obviously. I know what I'm getting over in your vegan section. But you're always reading labels. You're always reading labels. The idea that I could click on something and no, I'm not going to have to read any labels, except for maybe for a food allergy.
Of course.
That's
Of
fantastic.
course, yeah. And we do our due diligence with the products in the store and the products online. That we try to find the products with the best ingredients. Given my previous role with a distribution company, I worked for UNFI, United Natural Foods, big company.
Yes, it is.
$9 billion company.
Yeah.
I was a category manager, supplier relations manager. So I was a liaison between brands and the distributor, new brands and existing brands. And part of my role was checking efficacies and seeing, how the companies operated, the quality of the ingredients, what they were doing, how they were manufacturing. And I got to learn what the processes are going into building a brand and formulating a brand and packaging a brand and all these things. And so I use that knowledge and put it towards, okay, let me find what I believe are truly the best brands out there, or the good brands. And there's plenty that I don't have here, but there's just so much that we try to pick the ones that we feel are the most innovative.
So
and the quality.
You're
Hence
really
bulletproof.
putting it through. That's
we're
another
huge
one.
fans.
Big.
Like, how many stores have anybody been to and walked in and seen bulletproof? When
If you think you go to Whole Foods, maybe you got
now
a little bit.
it's becoming a little bit more mainstream.
But he's been.
No,
I
I don't even want to say mainstream. It's still niche, but 3 years ago, let's just say that we opened the store with bulletproof coffee. If I asked you 3 years ago, can you tell me a time where you saw bulletproof on shelves?
No.
Right.
No, now it's becoming a lot more popular. The only reason I knew bulletproof, when I walked in here, I saw this whole bulletproof thing. I'm like, holy crap, bulletproof. And it's only because I had been listening to London Real for the past several years. So when I came onto this, I'm like, oh yeah, it's like a London Real.
Right.
And that's fantastic. And yeah, Dave Asprey's a marketing genius. Got to give him some credit. We're talking about all these great business minds. Got to throw a shout out to Dave Asprey, of course. And
big fan of Dave.
I got to throw a shout out to you, man. I really think I'm not just blowing smoke. I really think at some point somebody's going. People who want to start their own thing. Young kids, entrepreneurs maybe in their 50s, starting out for the first time.
And it's never too late.
No, it's never too late.
I
think people are going to watch.
I'll share
this.
my age. I'm 38 this year. I consider myself young still.
Yeah.
So do the math. I took this plunge at 34 with a career.
Yeah.
Job, benefits, 401k.
Yeah.
The cookie cutter.
It's never the right. First of all, it's never the right time.
Right.
It's never the right time.
Right.
You just go or you
just
don't.
do it, man.
And I
if
think
you
a
want
lot
to
of
do
people,
it, you do it.
I think a lot of people are going to listen to this interview and are going to watch this, and I think you might actually be in that mode, man. I'm not just saying it. I really think that you've got that mindset and that heart. You got to blend those things. You got to balance those things.
Right.
And that goes with a lot of things. Mental health, especially. In my own experience, dealing with. I have ADHD and I suffer from a form of depression, and I got OCD in the middle there, and it's this constant
constant battle, struggle.
Right, exactly. But at some point, you start to get that little bit of that equilibrium, and you cruise on as much as you can. In business, it's no different. You have good days, you have bad days, you have things in between. You kind of try to even it out as best you can.
It's how you manage it, and it's how you manage it with yourself, your emotions, your physical well-being, your mental well-being. Going back that you were saying before, how kind of it's like work life or life work, or is it different? Is it the same?
Right.
And those are things that people are going to have to figure out on their own. For me, personally, work is life and life is work. It's become one for me.
Yeah.
So when people ask me like, oh, you work so much, you know, you don't get out, it's not unhealthy, it's this and that. I mean, I go out, I'll have,
Right.
you know, dinner, I'll hang out with friends, family, my brothers. You know, I don't go out and party and things like that, but I make time for myself, but I enjoy my time here with customers like yourself, with time we're like spending here doing this.
Yeah, it's not work.
You know, it's not work. And even when I'm here, there's stressful times.
Yeah, of course.
I call it work.
Right.
But when I'm hanging out at the smoothie bar and we're talking shop or talking keto or talking bulletproof or making a bulletproof coffee, I mean, that's what I love.
It's not work.
So it's like life is work.
Yeah.
You know, when you can get to that point, I think you then know that you've found your passion. And it may not come when you're 21. It may not come when you're 25. It may not come till you're 50 or 45. But going back to what you say, it's never the right time. Like you just, you know, when you find it, you'll know.
Yeah.
You'll know.
All those proper signs.
They align.
Everything will just align. And never easy, but really fulfilling.
Right.
Chris,
appreciate it, man.
thank you so much for
you.
this. All right, now's this time where Chris is going to tell you some of the events he has coming up.
Sure, yes. So July 14th in the Huntington location, we will be having another ketogenic meetup, which will be great. Anybody that doesn't know what ketogenic is, real quick, it's a lifestyle where you live a low carbohydrate consumption, high healthy fats. It's great for energy, cognitive function, weight loss. So anybody that would like to get educated on that can come down. We will be having our 3-year anniversary party in our Hicksville store. That date will be announced after Memorial Day weekend. We're hoping that it's going to be the end of June, maybe July. It's a little bit off from the 3-year, but we need a little space to plan this out. It's going to be a big event. So the plug before, missionnutrition.com, on Instagram at It's Mission Nutrition. If you guys just give us a follow, you will see when we post that date up, and we'd love to have you guys at the store. If you've been there, if you've never been there, even better. We'd love to see you guys down there. And anybody that ever has any questions or wants to reach out to me, you can always shoot me an email. I welcome anybody to give my email to and pass it along. It's chris@missionnutrition.com. If you have a health question or, you know, a supplement question, or you want to ask a question about the store, I'd be more than happy to help.
All right, fantastic. Hope everybody's got all that. Check the description for all the necessary links. Also to everybody that we've shouted out and mentioned, Mike and Marty, your brothers, anybody who wants to get in. Yep, we're going to have everybody's, anybody who wants to share all their information is going to be in the description. So make sure you follow. Make sure you come down, Hicksville store, Huntington store, and I'm sure many, many more.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks very much, Chris.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, so from Mission Nutrition and Monster Health and Fitness, I want to tell you all, get out of your own way. Take care, everybody.